Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, we are taking a look at what do they see in me that I don't see. So this is actually a video that Tay did not that long ago, and I really love the topic and I just thought it would be really interesting to do as well. You guys know I love Tay. We love Tay on this channel. If you hear noises, it's my cat Padme. But yeah, we love Tay on this channel, and I just really loved this kind of topic, especially because a lot of the times, you know, when we're younger and we're going through things and we're, you know, feeling insecure, or we haven't worked through our self-worth yet or built it up, we can tend to ask ourselves that question, like, what are they seeing in me that I don't see? Why are people doing this to me or projecting this onto me? Or why are people, you know, trying to like target me or send this energy? Like, what are they seeing in me that I don't see? And even in the lighter way as well, sometimes we can self-sabotage or not really see that we're worthy of something that other people can see in that potential in us. So shout out to Tay for this really cool topic, and I'm really interested to see what comes through. I'm gonna link Tay's video as well in the description box. You can head over there and watch hers. But yeah, we're gonna get straight in. So I thought I'd do some trinkets as you guys' piles. So pile number one, we have, I'm gonna hold them just so you can see. Pile number one, we have the clip. Pile number two, we have the moon necklace. Pile number three, we have the brooch. And pile number four, we have the key. So see which object you're drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamps. Hey Pawan, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what do they see in you that you don't see. So you guys chose the pearl clip. I'm going to start with tarot and then we'll move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number one, please, spirit guides. Pile number one, tap me into the collective of my pile number ones. What do people see in my pile number ones that they don't see in themselves? Please, spirit guides, tap me into my pile number ones. What do people see in my pile number ones that they don't see in themselves? We have the Three of Swords. What do people see in my pile number ones that they don't see in themselves? We have the King of Wands. We have the Three of Wands. What do people see? First of all, I literally am hearing the word undestructible. Like, we have the moon and the Ten of Wands here as well. I'm hearing the word undestructible. Like, I literally feel like I'm watching you kind of boomerang back after every blow. Like, that's the first thing that I'm being shown. You have the Knight of Wands at the back of the deck, because there's almost this feeling of like, where even is this ammunition coming from? Or where even is this light coming from, and where is this fire coming from? Like, for example, the way it's coming through, like, I'm seeing people look at you and it's like, sometimes people are lucky to get one good idea in their lifetime, but you keep bringing out these creative ideas, drawing them from nowhere. Every time like you fall down, you have another good idea. Like, you still bounce up and you're still like full of that fire. You're full of that zest is the word that I'm being told. Whereas like, I literally feel like I'm sitting around and I'm waiting for a good idea to kind of like hack into and sink my teeth into, but I'm just not getting anything off the ground. Like, I feel like I'm almost like forcing it. Like, I'm trying to be creative, or I'm trying to get that bit, like that zest for life, and I'm just like, I'm trying really hard, but I can't. Whereas like, it's almost like I'm looking at you and then it's like effortless. Like, every time I'm down, I'm back up. Like, there's this indestructible feeling. That's one thing that I'm being shown, because I'm literally being shown like a rose, and like, you know, when you have a flower and the petals fall off that like are dying, but obviously they fall off and new ones grow. That's literally what I'm being shown. I feel like I'm watching this rose and there's all these petals falling, but then there's more growing, and it's kind of like this ever growing kind of like a bush of roses. That's what I'm being shown. I almost feel like the way I'm looking is like there's always a star for you to reach, and you always have that ammunition to get there. I feel like that's what people see in you, is that you get a lot of your light and inspiration from within. I feel like you get a lot of your zest from within. I feel like every time you hit rock bottom, you bounce up, and that's something that a lot of people see in you, because it's like you just keep getting up fighting. Whereas I feel like a lot of people will duck and dodge those bullets. A lot of people will duck and dodge any type of failure. A lot of people don't even step out of the front door because they avoid that failure. They don't want to be seen like that. They don't want to be seen as like the fool, the beginner, you know, the apprentice. They don't want to be seen like that. Whereas I feel like you stay in that your whole life, even when you gain that wisdom, because you're constantly learning and growing. And I feel like that's how you get that energy. There's almost this optimistic vibe to you that I'm picking up on, that I see people like, I feel like I'm looking at you and you keep getting back up. Like I almost feel like I'm looking and I'm like, surely they're like down now, but then you're up and you're actually kind of brighter than you were before. It's quite interesting. Because I'm literally being shown, I don't even know what movie it is, so I don't know whether I'm being shown a scene from a movie that I haven't seen, but you'll know the movie. But I'm literally being shown someone and they've like fallen down. It looks like they've fallen down somewhere, or they've gone into an ocean, and it's like, oh, they're gone. But then in the last minute they like shoot. Oh my god, no wait, Harry Potter does that, doesn't he, when he gets the mermaids, Ron and the other person from the mermaid kind of lake, and it looks like he's not coming up, and then he like shoots up right at the end. That's how I feel when I'm like in the energy of others like looking at you, because especially with the Three of Swords leading the reading as well, I do feel that you guys may have gone through a lot of setbacks. You may have gone through a lot of hurt. You may have gone through a lot of pain. I'm being shown like a lot of purging, but it's like, I feel like anything you're being given, you're turning it into a positive. Like I'm literally being shown like a silver lining. So it's like, if this didn't, like, it's almost like if this didn't happen, I wouldn't have this. Like I'm going to turn it into something else. Like if this, like, I wanted the sun, but I was given water, but it's fine because now I'm going to make the ocean. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're that type of person. Like you can kind of create from anywhere, because it's not anything to do with the sun or the water or the earth or the air. It's nothing to do with like the tools or whatever that is. It's coming from within. It's the coding, it's the frequency that you bring into things that make you that gives it that shine, that gives it that vibration. I feel like everything you touch, I feel like you can turn to gold. I feel like you're like, the thing is, people could be in the same circumstances as you, or maybe have been in the same circumstances as you, but maybe they've never bounced back the way that you have, or turned it into something different the way that you have. And it's not necessarily luck or anything like that. I think it's your own inner vibration. It's the way that you see things. I feel like you're somebody that's constantly creating, especially with the Three of Wands in the middle of the reading. I feel like you're somebody that's constantly creating, and constantly not just creating in terms of like, ooh, creativity, like painting. It's deeper than that. I feel like you're constantly creating meaning, and what could be chaos to one person is almost like, that can be gold. Like I'm literally being, I don't know why I'm being shown Rumpelstiltskin and he's like weaving the golden hair. That's literally what I'm being shown, because I feel like no matter what it is, I can give it a different meaning, and I can turn it into something else. I'm not just gonna sit and, yes, okay, I'll purge whatever I need to, and yes, I'll feel into whatever's going on, but I'm not gonna sit here and just like have this tower moment just be a tower moment and let that be the moment that knocked me back. I'm going to turn it into something else. I'm going to find meaning. I feel like you're somebody that constantly finds meaning in why things have happened, and I feel like you use that then as your ammunition. You use that as your tools. It's literally reminding me of that quote, like, send me to the wolves and I'll return leading the pack. You know that quote? I feel like you're that type of person, and I think that's what people see within you. I feel like you're somebody that just is indestructible. I feel like you can constantly bounce back. I feel like you can constantly create anew. I feel like you're somebody that can constantly start again. You may have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, like a lot of Plutonian energy in your chart, 8th house energy. That's something that's coming through. But I also do feel there's fire as well, because I do feel like there's this activation. Like I'm giving it meaning. I'm hearing Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. So you may have Sagittarius, Leo and Aries in your chart as well, because I just feel like you're able to create from nothing, see the beauty in, you know, nothing. It's just like a little den in the garden and you're like, no, it's a castle. Like I feel like you're somebody that's able to do that, because I keep feeling as well as things that, like, if it happened to me, and this is me and like other people's energy, like if this happened to me, I wouldn't leave my house, or if this happened to me, like I'd be so sad, or like if I failed at doing that, I would be so upset. Whereas you're just like, every tower is like a catalyst for a new beginning. Like, this is great, now I have a blank canvas, and I love a blank canvas. Like I feel like you're kind of like that. And even if sometimes you're like, oh, for God's sake, again, like there's this meme on TikTok of a woman and she's like, not another one. But I feel like even when that happens, I feel like you still are able to just like build another tower and go again. And it's funny because I'm looking at the timing as I'm doing the reading, and it's 8 currently. It was actually 8:18 the timing on the recording. So yeah, I feel like I'm thinking of like 8th house. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up really strongly from you. I feel like you guys just get knocked down, jump back up. And I also feel as well like that could even trickle into little things as well, where like I said, where people see nothing, you could see something, in the sense of somebody could like put an outfit together and then it's just like, oh, this just kind of looks basic, but you like have that eye to make it like worth it, you know what I mean? Or, oh, it's raining, let's go home, and it's like, no, I have a better idea. Like I feel like you're that type of person. Like you're able to see the cup half full, you're able to turn something, to like turn nothing into something. And I feel like you probably give that to other people when they're going through like a heavy time or they're going through it. I feel like you're someone that's like, no, this is good because now you're learning this. So I feel like you help people see things from a higher perspective. I think that's something that you guys do. I think it does rub off on people too. I would definitely say that people see you as courageous. I would say that people see you as very creative. You're kind of like that spark of light, almost very connected to the inner child. That's what I'm being shown as well. So let's get your oracle cards. Padme has come to join us. She's sitting with us. She's sitting with us for this reading. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. What do people see in my pile number 1s that they don't see in themselves? I feel like you know you're strong. Like I want to let you know, like you're very strong. Like no matter what you've taken on, you've been able to like withhold it and transmute it. But like I feel like sometimes you don't see how actually strong you are. Because I feel like I want to say that you know you're strong, but I feel like you just have like an unlimited strength, if that makes sense. And I think, me looking at you, I think what I'm being shown is like a really big heart, like a really, really big heart space. And I think that you look at life through that lens, like through that lens of spirit, through that lens of like through your heart space. And I think that's where you give it meaning. So I think you're very like strong of the heart. It's reminding me of Avatar when Naturi sees Jake for the first time, and I'm sure she says, you have a strong heart, no fear. And I feel like I would pass that on to you if I had to say something to you. But yeah, let's go deeper. I also feel you're able to, with that light, just before I get into the oracle cards, see, like you're able to look at some heavy-ish and just like either not let it phase you or just transmute it, like things that people would kind of avoid their whole life or run from their whole life or just repress their whole life. I feel like you're somebody that's like, I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off and I'm just gonna feel it. Even if it's like your deepest, darkest wound, it's like, I'm gonna feel it. And I think you may also, because I think that you see through people, but I think that you don't realize sometimes that people know you're seeing through them. And I think sometimes you have things right on the money. And that's where I see some people that don't want you to see those like deeper, darker depths, which you just naturally do. I almost feel like I'm projecting onto you so that you, because I don't want you seeing what I'm seeing. Or you could even call things out. Because you're quite strong in that aspect too. I feel like you have no problem standing there and just saying your piece. So I feel like you may call things out, and I feel like sometimes people have tried to like attack that, like try to project onto you there. But I want to also say that you've been on the money quite a few times, or quite a lot of times, in terms of things that you've seen or things that you've noticed. Yeah. Quite interesting, because I feel like sometimes with you being such a light like that, I feel like people might sometimes think, oh well, they're just really sweet and kind, especially if you're somebody that's very forgiving, you know, and very loving like that. People might think, oh, they're just very sweet and kind, but I feel like you pick up on a lot more than what sometimes people initially expect, you know. Pile number 1. I'm shuffling and then Padme's just like bobbing up and down as I'm shuffling. Pile number 1. What do people see in my pile 1s that they don't see in themselves? We have darkness, long night moon, What do people see in my pile number ones that they don't see in themselves? We have peace, the waning crescent. What do people see in my pile number ones? We have the wolf moon, hunger. I love how I said, send me to the wolves and I'll return lead in the pack. And you have the wolf moon. And we have the void, the dark moon. And the back of the deck, we have growth. Yeah, I just feel like you're somebody that's like, you're never in the same space people leave you. With the number 5 at the top as well, I feel like you're constantly changing, constantly transmuting. And I actually do feel sometimes people worry that like you're gonna just like grow and evolve like without them. I do feel like sometimes people do worry about that, like you're gonna cut them off or you're going to just no longer need or want to be around them, because I do feel like you're somebody that's just rapidly changing and growing. And I do think that people are aware of your growth and the way that you shift and change. Yeah, a lot of people are aware of that, because this constant, like, I'm transmuting, rapidly. It feels rapidly. I feel like you're constantly shifting and changing. I swear I just shared a cat. I don't know. I swear I just shared one of my cats. I know I did, because Padme's head is up. And with darkness, like I said, I really do feel like you guys, I feel like you bring the light to the dark a lot of the time. I saw this quote on Twitter the other day, and it was like, I don't know who said it, but they were like, some of you guys just adjusted your eyes to the dark, but I was born in it, or something like that. And I found that, like, I don't know, that tweet really, like, I had my ears prick up. I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. But I feel like that would like relate to you guys. I feel like you've kind of like, you know, your own darkness inside and out, and I feel like you're able to see that in other people. There's like no fear with you. It's like, I'm just gonna tap into this, I'm just gonna feel into it. Like, I don't know, I just feel like you're very, very courageous. Very, very courageous. And with the peace card as well, it's almost like I get my inner peace inwardly. I get my, like, that love that a lot of people seek externally, like, I get it inwardly, you know what I mean? Like, I get it there first. Or my confidence, I get it from within. Like, I feel like it's all coming from within. That light, that energy, it's all coming from within you. And that's why I feel like you keep topping up, because I feel like there's a connection to source here. There's a strong connection to spirit that help you tap that, you know, top that up whenever you need to. And I think with the hunger card, that's why you're constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly bouncing back up, because it's just like this overgrowth, you know what I mean? Like, I was being shown that rose bush with all the roses on, like, there's that overgrowth. And again, even the void stage, like, when you think of the void in terms of, like, the void card here, when you think of the void in terms of, like, even like an ego death or something like that, so many people run from that, so many people avoid that. You see so many people and they connect with spirit and they get into spirituality, and then when spirit actually has them go through a real ego death or go through something like that, a lot of them will run. Sometimes they'll run to religion, or sometimes they'll decide that spirituality is the devil and they don't want anything to do with it, and that's fine. But a lot of people will run from their own demons and their darkness, because they're only interested in the light aside. But that darkness, that dark night of the soul that we go through, that transmutation, that is that's kind of like a rite of passage, you know what I mean? And we have to really look at our own demons, because there's more than just light in this world. And those that are brave enough to walk that and do that and go through that phase, they're then able to balance those energies out and, you know, find themselves then at that hole. And I feel like you're one of those that would do that. I feel like you're one of those that have gone through that just in life. I feel like you don't run from that heaviness, and I feel like because of that you're able to constantly grow. I don't think you are that afraid of any challenges, and I think people see that in you. Very courageous. That's how people feel about you. So yeah, pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love, and I hope I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what do people see in you that you don't see in yourself. So you guys chose the Moonstone pendant. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we'll move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s. What do people see in my pile number 2s that they don't see in themselves? What do people see in my pile number 2s that they don't see in themselves? What do people see in my pile 2s that they don't see in themselves. Okay, we have the Ten of Cups. Pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. What do people see in my pile 2s? We have the High Priestess. What do people see in my pile number 2s that they don't see in themselves? We have the Hanged Man. Ace of Wands. You guys could have a lot of like Cancer in your chart. There's just a big moon reference, especially with you choosing the moon being on the High Priestess as well, and I keep seeing it in my mind's eye. So some of you guys may be ruled by the moon. You could have a stellium in the 4th house. You could just have a lot of Cancer in your chart. Pile number 2, please. What do people see in my pile number 2s that they don't see in themselves? What do people see in my pile number 2s? We have the Knight of Pentacles as well, and the back of the deck we have the Page of Wands. Okay, the Ten of Cups, the High Priestess, the Hanged Man, the Ace of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles. As you guys know, one of my favorite singers, or you might not even know, one of my favorite singers is Jhené Aiko. And the reason I'm saying is just because there's a lyric coming through, but it's a song she hasn't released. She's teased a snippet a few times on her Instagram, but she basically sings, "Light inside of me, guiding me, finally I can see you." That's the lyric to that song. And it's the only lyric. She hasn't released the song yet. But that's something that I've strongly picked up on, and then I'm hearing like, you gotta have faith. I was hearing that song as well. I feel like you guys have such a strong kind of like inner compass, and I do feel like you guys are very, very connected to spirit too. But I think sometimes you don't see just how in tune you are, and it's not just because I feel like you might even view your gifts as like, oh, I'm connecting to spirit, like I'm connecting to the higher realms, like, but I think you don't realize sometimes how in tune you are to people around you, because I see a lot of people just kind of being like, how did they know that? How did they pick up on that? And I also don't think you realize like the presence that you have in people's lives in terms of like how safe you make them feel, how nurtured you make them feel, or like how much better you make them feel just being around them. Like the minute I tapped into you guys, I literally felt like a mint feeling, like a cool feeling, and I literally felt like I was being soothed, and I literally felt like you really saw me. And like in this life, people wear masks, people, you know, try to avoid their emotions or whatever. Like it's very rare people really feel seen in this lifetime, and I just feel like in this era of life even, and I just feel like you're one of those people that make people feel seen, or even feel felt, if that makes sense. Like I literally feel like you understand what I'm going through. I literally feel like you understand like everything about me. And the thing is with you guys, I feel like you think that's like normal, but I think you don't realize how rare that is, because I feel like I'm looking at you like a rare gem, which is funny because your pile was like the only kind of like pendant. I know we had the brooch as well, but that was like the only pendant, if that makes sense. And I literally just feel like you're like a rare gem. I feel like you really do hold space for people, and I feel like as well you intuitively pick up on things, or it's almost like I felt like foggy, you came around, I didn't even really bring up what I was feeling foggy about, but like you've left and I kind of have the answer, but we didn't even talk about it. But I feel like I can see it clearer. Like you've almost like helped me clear the fog. Like that's kind of like how I feel. I think that you're very in tune with spirit. I think that sometimes you don't realize it because maybe it's like your spirit guides like around you, or just your higher self working in unison with other people. So it's like your conscious kind of like human brain doesn't realize it. But I feel like sometimes like when you meet people or you're around people, there's like a level of work that may even be being done in another realm. To be honest with you, like that's honestly what I'm like picking up, where there's like a clearing, like a, you know, there's energy being worked through. So it's like I do feel like you really do take on a lot, and I feel like you're more connected to other people and their feelings than you realize, because you're able to tap into their currents. And I think that's something that people really see in you, is like how much of a healer you are, how intuitive you are, how connected you are. Like I'm not saying that you don't see it, but I don't think you realize it because it's like you're not experiencing your own energy, if that makes sense. But you really do feel like I kind of feel like you're a light in my life sort of thing. Like the way your energy is coming through, I feel like I'm brave, and like the tree nymphs are like helping me through the forest, or like I'm Moana and like my ancestors are helping me through the ocean, or I'm Cinderella and the birds are helping me make my dress. Like honestly, that's like, I feel how you come through. I feel like a lot of people around you probably know that you work with spirit or connect with spirit, or it could just be they just feel an emotional release when they're around you. Like that's just what I'm picking up. I'm tapping more into feelings here than more, normally with these type of readings I'll channel, but for your reading I got tucked into like a feeling in terms of how you make me feel, because I think it's beyond like what do people like see in you that you don't see, because I think it's beyond comprehension of like sight or like me analyzing and trying to logically understand what's going on. I feel like every time I'm trying to do that to get to the title of the reading, I kind of feel like I'm being pushed back into a river, and it's like, no, look at how like you make me feel type of thing. That's where I'm being taken for you guys. It's really, really interesting. And I think with you, I think that you guys are really good friends or good family members or partners, and I feel like you guys are very loyal, and I think that you guys are probably quite ride or die. Because I literally feel like you're, with the hangman being in the middle as well, I literally feel like you're bringing me information, like you're bringing me, I feel stagnant, I feel like I'm in limbo, and I feel like you've just cleared the pathway for me, but you didn't even really say anything, you just kind of like helped me out, you kind of being that, you're like a guiding light, and I think that's what people see in you. You're like a really strong guiding light, and I think that you have a really, really pure heart, even if sometimes, because the thing is, people always, with human beings, and we take words and we make them fit our own narratives, and when we say somebody's like healing or somebody's like full of love and pure, sometimes there's that projection that to be that you have to be like this selfless peaceful little fairy that doesn't like hurt a fly or whatever. But to have a pure heart as well, especially from like a spiritual perspective as well, there's a level of seeing things from a higher perspective and knowing that there needs to be tough love sometimes, there needs to be boundaries sometimes, there needs to be sometimes people need to hear something, you know, to have that truth broken to them, or sometimes people need to, you know, purge out the ugly or feel through the ugly, or sometimes people need someone to express their feelings so that they feel comfortable to do it too, and that's not always love and light. And I think you're one of those pure souls where it's not just like, ooh, fairy love and light, it's like, no, like I'm hearing the lyric from Ganja Burn by Nicki Minaj, I can wage wars or I come in peace like Gandhi. Like that's what I'm hearing. I feel like you guys are really, really loyal and ride or die, but know when to like put in boundaries and say what you need to say for the betterment of somebody else. Like I know you don't want to hear this, but I want the best for you, and this needs to be said. Like I need to help you here, and I feel like that's where that loyalty comes from other people. Like, oh, you're very pure, like you're not just doing this for you. Otherwise, if you were just doing it for you, you'd probably just keep the peace and be quiet, but you're doing this for me too. Like there's a feeling of that. I feel like people see you as somebody who has a very like pure heart, a really good heart, very like, I want to say the word noble. That's the word that I want to use. I never really use that word, but that's what I want to say, noble. Yeah, noble. Page of Wands, Ace of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. I just feel like you've got an abundance of love inside of you. Like that's how I feel like I'm viewing you. I feel like you're somebody that's very loving, like very understanding and compassionate. Like you understand things. You understand when people F up. You understand when people mess up. You understand when people are going through, you know, whatever it is that they're going through and they might not make the best decisions. Like you understand that. I feel like you're somebody that's very patient, and I think that's what people see in you. It's like you, I feel like you just see from a higher perspective. That's the only way I can describe it. When you think of like the moon as well showing up in the cards, like as well as the stone that you picked, like the moon is up in the sky, it sees everything. It sees everything in the darkness as well, like at nighttime when, you know, we can't see everything that's going on, the moon can. And I just feel like you are able to understand. It's almost like I don't feel fully aware of like what I'm feeling or why I've done something, but you can perfectly narrate back to me why that happens. And I didn't even really tell you all of the ins and outs, and I don't even really know what I'm feeling or why I did it, but you just kind of summed it up. How did you do that? Like I feel like you're one of those people, you're very in tune with other people's oceans, you're very in tune with other people's waters, you're able to like feel into it and understand it and help, you know what I mean? Like it's that guiding light, and you're able to bring that, you know, light to people in the dark. I feel like you're one of those people, and that's what people see in you. So let's pull your oracle cards. Pile number two. Pile number two. I feel like in love, so in your relationships, and if you haven't been in any yet, I feel like this is to come. So it's fine if you're single while I'm saying this, but if you're in relationships now, that's cool as well. I feel like in your relationships, you really, really love. Like, I feel held by you. In terms of a relationship, I feel like you can really see me. I feel like you can see all, like, I'm being shown like a labyrinth inside of me, and it's like your water going into every corner of the labyrinth, even the dead ends. Like, I feel like you're seeing all of it and you're bringing it all up, like you can really see me type of thing. Like I feel like you've gone really deep. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle cards. Pile number two. What do people see in my pile number twos that they don't see in themselves? Please, Spirit guides. What do people see in my pile number twos that they don't see in themselves? Yours very much was connected more to the emotions. We have the path. Pile number two, we have resistance. Pile number two, we have purity. I love how that came out because that's a big part of what people see in you. And self-reflection. The back of the deck, you have action. Okay. The path, resistance, purity, and self-reflection. Yeah, with the path, you're probably that pile that I always reference. I'm like, oh, you're like Dumbledore or Gandalf, like you're that pile. I've probably referenced that to you before, or I'll probably reference that to you again. Just because that's what I'm picking up. I feel like you literally come when people like need you, almost. Like, it's almost like, oh my god, I really needed to hear your voice today. Oh my god, I really needed to hear that today. Even if like somebody sees you every day, it's almost like I needed that today. Like, I needed you to say this to me today. I needed to hear this today. I just feel like sometimes you're just giving advice, but it's just message from spirit in general. You kind of feel a little bit like a messenger. And I really do feel like you help people. I literally feel like a Alice in Wonderland, and you're like the White Rabbit plus the Cheshire Cat. Like, you're all of it. You know what I mean? Like, you are all. With resistance as well, and we have the moon. Oh, well, this is the moon deck, so it's going to be moon on every card. I was just noticing the moon really standing out then, but of course it's on all of these 4 cards. But yeah, with the resistance card, I just feel like similar to pile number 1, I feel like you're able to bounce back from anything, but it's with you, I feel like you're very connected to your purpose, and I feel like you have a deep range of emotions. And I feel like, because I literally feel like I'm going into like a tsunami, like I'm going into like those like the what's it called, the North Sea, is it called the North Sea, the big waves. Like, I literally feel like I'm going into those waves, and I'm able to I'm able to calm that storm, if that makes sense. I'm able to, the noises outside are distracting me, sorry guys. But I literally feel like I'm able to balance those waves. I'm able to balance that emotion and find a calm level, if that makes sense. I'm able to work through these heavy emotions, process them out, and then kind of like get to an understanding of them. I feel like you're one of those people, which I feel is why you're able to rationalize other people's feelings and able to explain them, because I feel like you're explaining my feelings to me. I feel like you understand it from a different degree, and you're kind of like putting it down word for word. Like, you're kind of I feel like I've got tangled headphones in front of me, and that's my emotions, and you're like untangling them, you know what I mean, and reviving them for me. That's literally how I feel. I feel like you do that for people a lot, and I think you see through to people's like inner child and their own purity too. Everything else is just that calm crazy waters, like the tsunami around, and I feel like you're able to still it in other people as well as yourself. The thing is, I feel like you know how to still it within yourself and find that like pure meaning and like where it's coming from, and I feel like you're able to do that for other people because you're able to do it for yourself. That's as within, so without. That's what I'm being shown. And then with self-reflection, I feel like that's where people feel like you're able to bring out those deeper energies within them and kind of like mirror it back and help them understand. Of course, you probably trigger some people. That's bound to happen. And some people might try and project. Again, bound to happen with that energy if you're a mirror. But I feel like in the strongest word, you are an empath. I know everyone's like, I'm an empath, but I feel like you are an empath. Like you are that. This energy calls for it, like tapping into it. I can feel it. I feel like you really feel into people. You're definitely clairsentient, and I think that in terms of what people see in you that you don't see, I just think as much as you know, I feel like you probably know you're an empath, you know you can feel, you like, you know, all of that. I think sometimes you forget, it's more so for you forget the weight of what you're doing, and you forget the weight of how much you do help people, and how much it actually means to people, you know what I mean, and how you genuinely are in guiding people. So yeah, pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what do people see in you that you don't see in yourself. So you guys chose the brooch. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. We have Padme here. She's going to be helping us too, aren't you, Pads? Aren't you? So, pile number 3, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 3. My pile number 3s. What do people see in my pile number 3s that they don't see in themselves? Straight away, we have Justice that popped out. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. What do people see in my pile number 3s that they don't see in themselves? What do people see? We have the 2 of Swords reversed. If that's gonna stay, there we go. And we have the 8 of Cups. What do people see in my pile number 3s that they don't see in themselves, please, spirit guides? We have Strength. What do people see in my pile number 3s that they don't see in themselves? And we have the Page of Wands. The back of the deck, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, straight away, I feel like you guys are very determined people. I feel like you guys are very much go-getters. The minute I tapped in, I heard on my own, it was a Miley Cyrus song. It was like a song on the deluxe of her Bangers album, and she's basically singing about like the person that she's with not really seeing her vision and not really helping her out, so she's just going to go off and do it on her own and make it on her own. And that's the main thing that I'm picking up when I'm tapping into you guys. Like, I just feel like you guys have a fire within you in terms of like stepping towards your goals and going after your goals. There's this feeling of like, I'm gonna make anything happen. The minute I put my mind to it, I'm gonna go for it. Like, there is literally nothing in my way. I'm literally hearing Katy Perry's song Part of Me, and she's like, throw your sticks and stones, throw your bombs and your blows, but you're not going to take my soul. I'm hearing that from Part of Me by Katy Perry, because it's almost like whatever you chuck at me, I'm not even going to chuck it back. I'm just going to use it as ammo. I'm going to keep going. And I think that's what people really see in you. I feel like people kind of see you like a bulldozer, especially in terms of like specific goals. I don't know if you have like very high, like your goals are very like high. I feel like to other people may think that, or be like, wow, that's kind of out of reach. But I feel like you're the type of person that's like, I'm gonna make it happen by any means. Like, I'm gonna get my head down, I'm gonna do it. Some of you guys could be really good at manifesting or aligning with just timelines that you want anyway. Even when you go through those tower moments, you know it's there to like get you there, because I feel like you're somebody, it's like, I'm not even gonna tell you, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I have this goal and I'm gonna run after it. So there's a lot of people that really see that in you and see that go-getter energy within you. Because I literally feel like I'm being shown like archery, like I'm being shown a bow and arrow, like I'm being shown somebody doing that and like missing the first time, but like keeping going until I've actually hit it. Like, you can't tell me no, I'm just going to turn it into a yes. Like, I feel like you are that type of person. That's one thing that I'm being shown. And it's interesting as well, because when I first started laying your cards, like when I first got into it, there was this almost like strong sense of justice, like this strong kind of like moral, like I was picking up Saturn basically when I was tapping in, and I was thinking of like I was like running up the hill and I was like building stamina, and that's what I was like being shown tapping into, you guys. Like, I don't know why I'm seeing it from like another person's perspective, where it's like, I'm gonna get to that top of the hill like by any means necessary. And it's like, even if I've got to like camp out every day and take it bit by bit, like I don't care, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna keep going, like my head's down, like that's how I feel. Like I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna do it. That's what I was being shown as well. Like there's such a go-getter energy as well. I don't know why, I feel like sometimes people see you as somebody that looks at things in regards to like stepping towards goals or whatever it is. Like people see you as moving black and white. It's funny because when I tap into you, especially with like the brooch and all of the heads here, I actually see you seeing things in color, almost like technicolor. So maybe in a way that maybe other people don't even see. Because when I'm tapping into other people, it's like I'm seeing you in black and white. Like you're very from like a human perspective, because it's funny, you're very connected to spirit. I'm not saying other people don't see that you're connected to spirit, but it's almost like I'm seeing somebody as like black and white. I feel like I'm watching an Olympic like runner like prep for the Olympics type of thing. Like that's literally how I feel. Like my head's down, everything's black and white, I'm running for my goal. But when I'm actually tapping into you, I feel like there's a higher purpose. I feel like you're very intuitive. I feel like there's a rhyme and reason to everything that you do, even if to other people it might not make sense. And what's quite interesting about you is I feel like you're quite private, so I feel like other people might not even see why you're running towards that goal, or why your head's down, or why you're listening to that like rule book, or you have your own set of rules, and why you're not listening to, you know, their rules. Like I feel like people don't necessarily see it, because I almost feel as well with that go-getter bulldozing energy, you're kind of coming through as like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, where they sing and it's like, there goes she girl, there goes that girl, she's so peculiar, like, and she kind of like, you know, goes around the town and just does her own thing, and everyone's like, you know, she's kind of like strange, why is she reading books, whatever, because she's doing her own thing. And I feel like that's how people kind of like see you. And I think that you may be quite private people, or you may kind of like hide your goals or why you're doing certain things. It's almost like, I'm just, don't worry about why I'm doing it, I'm just doing it. So that's quite interesting, because I almost feel like from other people, and remember we're looking from an outside influence, I feel like you've just said that you're gonna like head off to Oz, you know what I mean, and go get the ruby slippers or whatever, and it's just like, what are you talking about? We're in Canada, like what are you even talking about? And then it's like you've got this wall, so everything feels private, but then I'm like trying to peek over the wall because I keep seeing all of these colors and magic, like, and I'm like, what's going on behind that wall? And then you're there with like your magic wand ready to run off to like Oz, you know what I mean? Like you're ready to go off to like another dimension, another place, and it's like, what? But it's like your rhyme and reason as to why you head towards things, it's behind a wall, which is quite interesting. I feel like other people, they don't actually it's like, I don't understand the method to the madness. All I know is they end up getting their goal. So like that's kind of how I feel. It's like everything they head towards, they go for it. Like they run after it, even if I don't understand why they're leaving that job, or they just got rid of that home, or they just got rid of that car, or they just left that relationship. Like I don't know why they did that. But the Two of Swords here and the Eight of Cups is like, I don't know why they're making that change. But then it's like I see the finished masterpiece and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? And I feel like you guys have a strong like compass within, if that makes sense, because especially with the Justice card leading the reading, I feel like you kind of throw out rule books that don't really register with you internally, and I feel like you kind of go after what you want, because I literally just feel like I'm looking at someone that's gone against the grain. I have no idea what they're doing, they haven't told me, and maybe at the first time I'm projecting like, oh, that's not going to go anywhere, but then they make like it ends up paying off and they get all of that abundance, and I'm like, oh, and then they go ahead and do something different, and I'm like, you know what, this time I'm not even gonna say anything, I'm just gonna like let it be, because it worked last time, and I don't want to eat my own words like before. And then they go behind that wall again, no idea what they're doing, they're not using the rule book that we're all using, and they run off, and then they make abundance again, and it's like, wow, okay. So with you guys, there's almost like a brick wall of like, I don't know what they're doing, I don't know how they're doing this, I have no idea how they're reaching for these stars and grabbing them. All I know is that it works. Because there's a lot of Saturn influence and there's a lot of Uranus influence, like Aquarian energy here, Aquarius and Capricorn, but it feels Aquarius for the Uranus energy as well. That's what I'm being shown, because I feel like you guys are very innovative. I feel like you guys are somebody that's like, let's throw out that rule book and do this instead, like that's got a lot of distortions, let's do that. And I feel like even when you pass on wisdom, or you know, give people advice in terms of their own life, I feel like you bring a lot of innovative like ideas, you bring a lot of innovative kind of just like ways of moving, you know what I mean? Like things that people wouldn't even think of, or you'd like lift people up in like different ways. And I feel like it's like, throw out that rule book, use this one instead, do this instead, go and do that, you know, take that leap, like take that chance type of thing. I feel like you bring that to people. You have people kind of, I feel like you have people scratching their heads because for some reason there is this brick wall of like, I don't really know how you're moving this way. I don't really know how you came up with this. But I feel like it also has people then reflect back inwardly, like, why am I even following this rule book in the first place? And why was I even settling for this in the first place? Like, if they've made that shift, why don't I? Like, I feel like that's what I'm doing. And I feel like that brick wall's there kind of like for like a purpose. Because it could even not even be just like you being private and you, you know, not telling people like your secrets. It could be that you're just seeing things in a different color. You're seeing things from a different frequency. You're listening to your own inner compass. You're falling into alignment. You're listening to messages from spirit, and maybe those are things that people can't see. They don't understand your mission. They don't understand that you're doing all of those things. It's naked to their eye. You know what I mean? It's like they can't see it. But I feel like you see it. You see that color, and I feel like that's how you bring it in. And it causes people then, because they can't see it, it causes them to ask a lot of questions, which plant a lot of seeds, which then have them kind of like go within and be like, why don't I do this? Why don't I make this shift? Why don't I make that change? And I do feel you inspire people in that area. And I think what you don't see is how many people you do inspire, or how many people you have like questioning. I feel like you have people questioning, you know what I mean? Why have I always just done things black and white and followed those rules? Why didn't I do it like a different way? Because I've used this rule book and I was having a go at them, or I didn't like that they weren't using the rule book, but it worked for them. So why don't I try something different? I think what you don't see is people questioning, you know, their own structures, especially when they're not happy. And I don't think you realize how many people start to really broaden their horizons. I feel like you don't see that, you know. So let's pull your oracle cards. It's like I'm naturally then looking from a higher perspective, because my way of looking at how you got to it from A to B, it doesn't make any sense. But if I try and look at it from another perspective, maybe I'll be able to understand. And the more I start to look at it from that perspective, I'll be able to apply that to my own life and make changes. I feel like you're innovative, very innovative. I also feel like you might be the pile where people might try and mimic you. I feel like you also may be that pile where people might try and like align with your energy, because it's like they're seeing something in you, so they're like, let me try and be like this. But it's more your source than anything else. It's not, you know, it's not anything you're doing, saying. It's coming from within. I feel like you're very innovative and creative, and I feel like you're always listening to your own inner compass. Pile number 3. We have resilience. Pile 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. What do people see in my pile 3s that they don't see in themselves? We have realization. You're definitely go-getters. I literally feel like you can do anything when I'm in this energy. Like I do see that. I just see you constantly going after. We have growth as well. What it is that your heart's calling you to do. Because I don't even think it's like oh, here's a goal and I'm going to run towards it. It's more so I'm in alignment with this, so I'm going to flow to it. But people would be like, oh, wow, they really pushed towards that goal. And it's like, yes, you did work hard. And yes, you did run towards it. But like, you were listening, you were falling into alignment. You were listening to your inner compass. But it's funny because that's something other people don't see, which isn't the point of the reading. That's why I was like, But because they don't see it, and they don't see that inner compass, and they don't see that, but then you make abundance from it, they start questioning, and questioning causes those seeds to grow within themselves. So what you don't see is other, like the trail of like innovation and like, I'm hearing like imagine, the trail of that you leave with other people, you know. We have blossoming, so it's like those seeds are then blossoming, you know what I mean, for others. To start getting creative and start being open and listening to their own hearts and making those shifts the way that you do. Resilience, realization, the path, growth. Yeah, resilience. I feel like with you guys, if you're being called on a path, you're going to do it no matter like whatever's necessary. And then because you're listening to that call and it's like, oh, that hurdle was meant to be there, it was meant to be there, so you're able to jump over it. You have that ammunition to jump over it because you know that that's part of the path. You know what I mean? Whereas other people, if they were to go on to like a specific path and it wasn't in alignment, that hurdle could just knock them straight out. And they'd be like, well, why are they jumping over it? They're jumping over it because it's their calling, you know? And that's why they might think, wow, they must be really resilient. You are. But it's also because it's your calling and it's for you and you're following the way, you know? And then realization, especially with the keyhole. I don't know if you can see the key. It's like a keyhole. On the realization card, I just feel like you bring new perspectives to people. I feel like you bring new ideas. When we think of like the number 3 on top of that card as well, 3 is ruled by Jupiter. That's expansion, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you expand people's minds, and I don't think you see how much you do it. And I think you just do it just by being you, just doing things your own way. I'm keep being shown Uranus, I keep being shown like Aquarius energy, like doing things. I'm being shown like the mad scientist, just doing things that way. It's making me think of Belle's father. Even though I saw you as Belle, it's making me think of Belle's father, like the scientist, like the inventor, you know? You kind of coming through like that. Yeah, the path and growth. See, you're following your intuition, you're following your own... You're dancing to the beat of your own drum and you're following your own soul's calling. That's what it is. And that's where you're constantly growing and evolving and you're adapting. Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Because if you look at the diamonds on this brooch, if you look at those diamonds, there's more than one. So it's like multi-dimensional. So I love how the basis of the reading was, what do people see in you that you don't see? But it starts with what you're actually doing that other people can't even see. But because they can't see it, it causes them to question and look at things from a higher perspective. And you're not seeing the seeds you're dropping in just doing that. You know what I mean? That's really quite interesting. I feel like you probably get readings that are like a little kind of upside down. I think that's just you. I think that's just your energy. I just feel like your soul constantly is like on a journey and doing things differently. And yeah, I love how it all went full circle. That kind of took me on a ride, and I love that. So pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal 4, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at, what do people see in you that you don't see in yourself? So you guys chose the key. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. I don't know where my throat went then. My voice even. Pile number 4. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s, please, spirit guides. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s. What do people see in my pile number 4s that they don't see within themselves? What do people see in my pile number 4s that they don't see within themselves? We have the King of Swords. What do people see in my pile number 4s that they don't see in themselves? We have the 8 of Swords. We have the 2 of Wands. What do people see? We have the 6 of Swords. One more card, please, spirit guides. What do people see? Oh God, we've got two cards that have just dropped. We have the 7 of Wands and we have the World. Okay. First of all, I kind of want to say that you've lived many lives. So either you're just like an old soul, or people know that you've been through a lot in this lifetime. You have the 5 of Swords at the back of the deck. Yeah, because there's almost this feeling of like moving on, and it's interesting. You've got the most cards out of all the other piles. There was only 1 in 5 to come out, but we've got 6 here, which is quite interesting. Yeah, I feel like I'm looking at you, and to you it could just be like, okay, we're just moving on, like we're just evolving, we're just growing. But I feel like from another perspective, like I literally feel like, one, every time I'm checking in with you, you're a different person. Like I feel like I'm talking to somebody from a different incarnation. But second of all, I just feel like there's like a change in perspective. It's reminding me, you know, I love Doctor Who and I talk about it on this channel all the time, but basically the Doctor's like this alien that can change face. So it's like a different, every couple of seasons, the actor that plays the Doctor leaves, another one comes in, but they do it like it's a regeneration of this guy called the Doctor. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm checking in with you and you're like, it's like a different character play and you almost, because I feel like you're constantly growing. Similar to, I think it was pile number 1. I feel like you're constantly evolving, constantly growing. But because of that, I also feel like there's a lot of wisdom that you have. Because I literally feel like I've seen you play every role type of thing. You know when you see those actors and they just play different like roles in different movies, like you have Margot Robbie and she's Harley Quinn, but then she's Barbie. Like, you know, you see these actors and they'll do roles that are just like the polar opposite. That's kind of like how I feel. I feel like you're constantly growing, constantly evolving, but to you it's just like, oh, it's just like I'm just changing, I'm just shifting. But I feel like when people aren't around you for so long, I feel like it's like meeting somebody completely different. I feel like you have a new view of things. I feel like you have a new perspective. Like I could quote you on saying something one week, but then I see you the next month and you have like the completely different view on it. And it's not because like that whatever's happened's changed and there's no new information that's come to you about it. You've just grown, evolved, and made it around the bush and seen it from another perspective. And it's like, oh, I see this perspective now, you know what I mean? Like you're constantly shifting and growing, because I feel like I'm looking at you and you've lived many lives. I don't know what that's about, but I keep being taken back into an energy where it's like, oh, did you hear about pile number 4? They're doing this. And then it's like a year later it's like, oh, did you hear about pile number 4? They're doing this. And it's like, but they were doing this. It's like you've shifted and changed so much, or you've shifted and grown so much. It's like one minute I think you're, you know, the color yellow, then you're the color blue. You're constantly growing and evolving. I think more than you realize. I feel like you know, if I was to say you're shifting a lot, like you shift and change and evolve, I feel like you know that. But I think like for other people, I don't think you realize like how like profound it can be in terms of like the wisdom that you gain and the things that you have to say. And like, because I feel like you're able to meet anybody where they are because you understand like their level of consciousness or where they're at, even if they're doing something that like other people might not be able to understand. It's like, oh no, I've been there, I get why they're moving that way. Oh no, I've been there, I get why they're, you know, speaking like that. Or, you know, they're hurt right now and they're just going through this. Like I feel like you understand that. It's making me think of like being shown like a magical like sack with like gemstones in it. So it's like those gems were kind of like gained through like whatever quest I was on type of thing, because it's making me think of like the key that you guys chose is almost like the master key, like opening different doors. I feel like you're able to see things from different perspectives. Like I've played the villain and I've played the good person. I've played you know, I'm thinking of Frank Sinatra when he sings That's Life, and he's like, I've been a pauper, a poet, a pirate, a king, and he names all of it. That's what I'm hearing, the That's Life song, because I feel like you're somebody that's just lived a very colourful life, and I think people just see you as somebody that like you're the right person for the job in terms of seeing things from both sides, or being able to understand people and why they move the way that they do. I feel like you have like a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom, and it could be as well that you have your hands in a lot of pies or pots, like whatever it is, like jack of all trades. I feel like you could be one of those people, because I feel like you just have knowledge on a lot of different things that people could like gain from in a way. Like I feel like people see you as somebody that's very intelligent, and that's kind of like being around the block, and you kind of come across like a wise old elder, a little similar to, I think it was pile 2. It might have been pile number 2, and it wouldn't even shock me if you probably were drawn to all piles before settling here, just because I feel like you've been in so many different frequencies. You know, I was connected to the earth and being really rooted and grounded, but then I was connected to the celestial energies and tapping into that, and then I was connected to, like, you're listening to like your own inner currents, and I feel like you flow with them. A lot of people can resist them, a lot of people can slow it down, a lot of people can get stuck in karmic loops. It's normal, but I just feel like you listen to your own flow, and I feel like you follow that flow, which allows you to expand and grow. And I think people see that a lot in you as like somebody that's just constantly shifting and changing. It's making me think of like an artist with different eras. Like I feel like you're one of those people constantly up leveling, uprooting. Like, are you with this person anymore? No, that was ages ago. Like, that was a completely different time in my life. Like, that feels like 5 years ago, even though it was 9 months ago. Like, I've changed so much since then. I've even bought a new house and dyed my hair. Like, what are you talking about? That was ages ago. And like, oh, and then you're like, what's new with you? And they're like, same old. Like, you're just like, you know, you're constantly making those shifts and changes. You're constantly wrapping up cycles. And you may find as well sometimes, especially in the past more so, you outgrew friendships, you outgrew relationships, or you outgrew maybe even like occupations, like jobs that you had, because it's like I feel like you would, I don't know why I'm being taken to your earlier life, and I'm seeing like energy's just moving normally, and then there's like an acceleration, and then energy's moving normally, and then there's an acceleration. So I'm being shown like that scan, and then like a beep beep, like I'm being shown that sort of thing, because I see like an up leveling and it, okay, tower moment, here we go, and then it's like a shake up. And I feel like you've gone through a lot of them. Sometimes people only go through one in their life. I feel like you might be on your 9th. Like, that's how it feels coming from other people. I feel like it's just like, wow, they're constantly, you know, just taking the bull by the horns and running towards different things and up leveling, and they've changed a lot. Like, I only saw them a year ago, and they've changed, you know what I mean? Like, they're really, it's like a different person. Like, I just feel like you're one of those people that's constantly shifting. Okay, let's pull your oracle cards. I feel like with you guys, it's hard for people to kind of have a handle over you in terms of like, what do they see in you that you don't see? Because I feel like, one, I feel like you're usually ahead of the curve anyway, and second of all, I feel like when people feel like they might have grasped you, here you go shaking up again. You know what I mean? Like, you're just constantly evolving. I will say one thing that I feel people notice about you that you might not notice, although I feel like you're ahead of the curve, so you realize things. I feel like you're psychic, so you have like psychic foresight, or you just have psychic like predictions, like premonitions and stuff. The reason I'm saying that is because I feel like when there's new trends, or like, for example, there's like a cowboy craze this year, isn't it? Like, Lana Del Rey's putting out a country album, Beyonce just dropped a country album, people are going country, but like, I feel like you may tap into like a craze before it happens, and then when everybody else is jumping on the bandwagon, you're on the next thing. So like, right now everybody's going like the cowboy like country thing, but you were doing that 5 years ago. Like, that's completely, you're in like a completely other phase now, you know what I mean? Like, you're somewhere else, because I think you're quite innovative, and I want to say similar to pile number 3, and now I notice I've literally referenced all the other piles. Like, I feel like you're quite innovative, and I feel like you see things coming, and then you strike when the eye on top, because you listen to that frequency. It's quite interesting. And by the time that energy's gone and other people are jumping onto that wave, you're somewhere else completely. But yeah, I do feel that like your energy feels like it's been in all the other piles. Because pile 3 felt very innovative, and you have that as well. Pile number 4. Oh god, that card's actually ran away from me, so bear with me. I'm gonna have to actually move. Try not to annoy Padme, she's sitting behind me. Okay, we have focus. I love that, because we've got the butterfly, and you guys are constantly changing and growing, shifting, changing, growing. Pile number 4, we have realization. Pile number 4, please. What do people see in my pile 4s that they don't see in themselves? I don't think there's a lot of people seeing you that you don't see in yourself, because I feel like you're hyper aware of everything. We have beginnings, but I feel like people notice that you're one step of the curve, like you're one step ahead type of thing. But it's like effortless. I don't think you're trying to. I feel like you're just like a bit of a trendsetter. We have attraction at the back of the deck. Okay, focus, realization, beginnings, the void, attraction. Your energy as well also feels fresh. This is one thing that I will say. I feel like a lot of people do look at you like, oh, shiny. because your energy is always fresh, and I feel like you're always doing something different, something interesting, something cool. That's what I will say, that maybe you don't realize because it's just you doing something in the moment, changing your hairstyle in the moment, going after a different occupation in the moment, like shaking things up in the moment, but like other people notice you doing different things, and it's like, oh, like I feel like other people kind of look up to you in that aspect, if that makes sense. That's one thing that I will say as well. And with the beginning card then going into the void, again, that's very much mirroring you guys. I feel like you'll welcome a tower moment just to get new energies, you know what I mean, and transmute into something else. I feel like you're the type to welcome it. It's like, well, that means I've completed it, on to the next mission. Like I feel like Super Mario when I'm like jumping down the flag and I'm going into the next world. That's literally how I feel. I don't know why, it's almost like I'm rushing. I'm like rushing, and I don't feel like your energy necessarily feels rushed. I just feel like your soul feels, I feel like you're very connected to the higher realm, so your energy feels fast. You may talk fast, but I also feel, because your energy is so connected to those realms, and I feel like your soul's used to being in those realms, I feel like there's things in this lifetime that you can kind of ace quite quickly. It's just like, right, let me get past this, let me get past this, let me get past this. I know where I'm going, and I need to get to like level 5, episode 9. So it's like I'm like rushing past all of these things and transmuting them, and it's like gold coin. That's why I have that sack of like magic crystals, because it's like I've gained this. And people are like, oh my god, look at all them gems. Like I haven't even found one, but I just feel like you're constantly moving and shifting and changing. Oh, another ego death, another void phase, like a new beginning. That's great, because now we're on the next world. Like that's kind of how I feel. But because of that, your energy stays fresh, and I feel like people are very attracted to that. I feel like whether it's things you wear, things that you do, things that you say, I feel like you're quite innovative, very similar to pal number 3, and I feel like you have a lot to say. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I feel like you have a lot of innovative things to say. I feel like you have a lot of bold things to do, and like, yeah, very creative. You're a very interesting person. I think people see you as somebody that's very interesting. Very interesting. Almost a little alien. Kind of like a little alien. It's just making me think of the Doctor from Doctor Who, because he's always moving on and going to other worlds, and yeah, I don't know, you just remind me of that. That's how I would describe you anyway. So pile number 4, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.